is a show that focuses on the person behind the brony. I'm your host, Osaka Jack. Please sit back and relax as we talk to this week's guest brony. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Into the Spotlight. I'm your host, Osaka Jack. With me today, I have somebody who agrees with you more than you know. Isn't that right, Snowflake?
Yeah!
I should have set that up with you beforehand, but I didn't, and you followed through beautifully, and it went really well. How are you today?
Not bad. How about yourself?
Sitting through a typhoon, but it hasn't started to rain yet, so just kind of windy.
All right. Stay safe.
Yeah, I'm at the fourth floor. I'm far enough away from the ocean that if something were to hit me, it would engulf all of Japan, and really, I would be kind of like one of the least things to worry about. So yeah, we're good.
All right.
Well, yes, you are known as Snowflake or Snowflake IRL in real life.
Depending on where you find me online.
Mm-hmm. Yes, or in real life.
Yeah, because there's Snowflake IRL. I have a DeviantArt, James Alpha. I did have a Tumblr, but because I don't have internet regularly, I don't usually update it.
Gotcha. Okay. I insist that there should be a service similar to Tumblr called On Hiatus. And it's only people who don't post very much. They post there like once every 6 months or so. I think it should be a thing.
It could work. Or, you could just post on Tumblr, hey, not going to be on here for too often.
That happens a lot as well, yes.
Because I have things like life.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, until we get, paid to do this, then I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you getting paid? I'm not.
No, not to be a brony.
Okay. All right. Just checking. Wouldn't that be a utopian future? At like a decade from now, the stories of the bronies exist, and they put out, hey, anybody who is actually a brony, we will pay you to come to our convention and talk about what you were.
I remember back that one horrible day. Oh, the dark days, but we rose above it.
Mm. There were times where you didn't know who was going to end up with wings by the end of the day. But darn it, we rose above it because we had wings all of a sudden.
I remember we blamed M.A. Larson. I can't remember what we blamed him for.
Eventually, we just blamed him for everything, and he seemed fine with it.
That episode, M.A. Larson. Didn't even write it. We still blamed him for it.
It's raining today. Darn you, M.A. Larson.
I have a hangnail. Larson!
I wonder if we can get enough funds together to get Kathy Westluck to do Spike's voice instead of just the no, just Larson, and just re-edit all of the pony videos. Instead of them screaming out no, just Larson! I'd watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know who else would enjoy it, but I would, and that's enough for me.
The two no's, and then the one from Just for Sidekicks when he's like Angel, just Larson.
Yes, I am liking this a lot. Heck, we'll even change Scoot Scootaloo to Larson. Doesn't flow as well.
It's a little pushing it.
Okay. Well, if anybody doesn't know you, can you describe where they might recognize you from?
Of course. I do have my Twitter, which I'm usually kind of active on because it takes very little space on my cell phone. I have gone to both Everfree Northwests dressed up as Snowflake.
Mm-hmm.
The two current Equestria LAs and the dreaded Unicon.
Yes.
And every once in a while, if I manage to make it to a anime or comic book convention that has a pony meetup or a pony panel, I will usually don the tiny wings and run around yelling at people.
Politely.
Yes.
In an encouraging manner, I would assume.
And, I'd make sure that they're into ponies because if I
Yes.
just yell at the random person, they're probably just going to hate me.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
We don't need any more of that in the community.
No, there's plenty of that as is.
Oh, yeah.
Though I have to say though, I mean, you do a very wonderful Snowflake cosplay.
Hmm.
But something that I like about it is that it never seems to be the exact same cosplay. I
Well,
mean, we have the basic Snowflake, which appears in every con at least once, but there's always an alternate version, isn't there?
well, there's been a few for me.
Hmm.
The first alternate costume I did for him was it? It was at Unicon.
Okay,
It was the Wonderbolt Academy or Snowflake.
right.
And if anyone's seen that, it's basically the little blue shirt with a lightning bolt.
Hmm.
And a friend who made once I told her about it, she made me the wing pony badge,
Nice.
and then a pair of steampunk goggles that resemble the ones in the show as close as possible.
Right, right.
That was the first alternate. Then, for all of you wonderful people who either made it out to Equestria LA or watched the live stream, especially day one opening ceremony, um, I made a small joke at M.A. Larson's expense
Hmm.
and went as Princess Snowflake with a tutu, a tiara, a horn, and if you can find some of the better pictures, full makeup.
Very nice.
And then one that didn't really go over as well, I tried doing Nightmare Snowflake, which is
It didn't
basically
go over, really? I
well,
loved it.
only it was only because no one really knew about it.
Oh, okay, okay. That's a shame. I thought Nightmare Snowflake was cool.
Well, I think it's just I don't think a lot of bronies, at least as far as right now, uh, know about the comic book.
That's a good point. Yes, the comic book is not as well known as the show. Matter of fact, total honesty, I have not read the comic book yet. I'm waiting for next payday, and I have to order it from Amazon, and I have to wait for, 3 to 4 weeks for it to arrive.
Ugh.
But at least it's not a single comic book. At least I think they've got 1 through 4, maybe 5 through 8 by the time I order it. I can't remember exactly, but I'll be able to read more than a single one. So
Well, that's good.
yeah.
I mean, but I'm gonna guess that it's probably gonna have a limited amount of covers.
Well, I don't. Since it's just a collection in one book, I think it's only going to have one cover for the 4 issues.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm going to be at -3 covers actually.
No problem.
Yeah,
Makes everything a little bit easier and cheaper.
and it means that I can read it. So honestly, if I have to choose cover or being able to read it, I'm going to read it.
Yeah, and I said Nightmare Snowflake, and if because I don't want to spoil it if anyone is thinking about reading the comic, read the comic, and you would understand where Nightmare Snowflake, where the idea came.
And I could surmise and I could guess, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to
Hmm.
say, okay, got it.
And then I have one or two ideas for not necessarily alternate snowflakes, but
Right,
alternate costumes for myself down the line.
gotcha.
But spoilers.
I remember that you tweeted an idea, and I won't spoil it for anybody, but I don't know if you heard my response to it.
I don't think so.
Okay, I suggested that instead of what you had suggested, I suggested that you go as the offspring of Snowflake and the oft shipped with Cloud Chaser. Cloud Chaser.
Mm-hmm. That would, yes. Did you give it a name? I can't remember.
I did not. I did not. So let's see. Snow Chaser. No. Uh,
Because
Flake Chaser. No.
I'll stop you right there because that's the ship name.
Okay.
Because recently I have started to really ship them hardcore. I don't know why. I think it's
Okay.
because I attended Everfree Northwest with a pretty particular young lady
Right.
who dressed up as Cloud Chaser with me.
Ah. Okay.
That could be it. But I came up with two possible offspring names. I thought it was Snowstorm and Blizzard.
Yeah, I was just going to say Blizzard would be a good one for a boy or a male, I suppose. Oh no, you know what? Could be either one. I take that back. Yeah,
Yeah,
my original instinct is a male name, but it could be either one. Sure.
but you know, I'm Snowflake. I really couldn't go as the offspring of Snowflake because
Yeah, I know, but still,
like, you're not going to get Muscle Pony is instantly going to have Muscle Pony offspring.
okay. So Muscle Pony offspring in the future finds a time stream and is able to come back. Okay, never mind.
Because I mean, if one of the popular ideas is Featherweight from Ponyville Confidential is Snowflake's son or brother,
Okay.
just because I guess you have to pair the scrawny little guy with the big muscular guy.
To be honest, they have approximately equal wing size.
So does Snowflake and Pound Cake.
Yes, very true. I don't think you're suggesting that parrot. No, never mind. Never mind.
All right,
We'll,
you.
we'll move on from there. Yeah, I could see that. That's what. Ah, gosh, my meteorology knowledge has escaped me. What's the name of the type of cloud that produces snow? Is it just cumulus?
I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah, I think it is. Okay, never mind then. I was trying to think of a snow cloud and uh, nothing specific came to mind. Blizzard is the one I like. Have there been any absolute rejected ideas other than mine?
Not necessarily. If
Okay.
it's a good idea, I'll suggest it. I mean, like I have played with the idea of doing actual other male characters
Hmm.
because I have done a big Macintosh,
Okay.
and I've seen the pictures, and my skin tone does not work with the wig that I got for him.
Okay, I can see it.
It was fun because it was the first character. I'm pretty sure it was the first cosplay I did from My Little Pony.
Okay.
But as soon as Hurricane Fluttershy came out, I was like, I have to do this character.
Yeah.
It's you know it it's gonna sound like tooting my own horn or putting down other bronies, but in all fairness, I mean, you and hopefully some of your listeners might agree. I'm not an atypical brony.
Absolutely agree. Yes. Yes. Very true.
So it was one of the characters where I was like, I'm kind of suited for this character.
Sure. Sure. I think it would be possibly not irresponsible of me, but I don't think that my body type would suit a Jack Skellington cosplay.
Mm.
That's not going to work. At
But
the
I mean,
same
like,
time, I could probably do King Ox cosplay better than you could.
yes, you could. But I mean, like, because I don't like being negative like that.
Hmm.
But because honestly, you could do any character. It's
Yeah.
just there's Snowflake is built specifically and differently from any other character from the show.
Sure.
So there are certain characters from certain shows where I'm like, you need the body type to play it,
Yeah.
or people are not going to like you for it.
Yeah. I can see that. I mean, at the end of the day, I think the most important thing is have fun with it. But if
Yeah,
you're looking for a realism factor, yeah, it's
yeah.
it's important to consider it.
I mean,
Have
I'm not gonna be on here and say like bronies. If you don't have muscles, don't be Snowflake. If you want to cosplay Snowflake, by all means,
yeah,
go ahead.
absolutely. Have you considered doing a Shining Armor one? We did see him in a track uniform.
I've tried it.
Hmm.
I've just it's not really in I'm not really like sold on the idea.
Okay. All right.
But
Fair enough.
excuse me while I break character, but excuse me, but I have I have contemplated doing a fancy pants. Yes,
Oh,
Peter
okay.
Snowman. I might be able to pull him off pretty well.
That could work, sure. Now, if you do fancy pants, then I have to ask, why not blue blood?
Ugh! How dare you think that I would walk around with commoners?
I found that the Blue Blood voice, in similar to Thurston Howell III from Gilligan's Island, it's made several leagues better if you keep your teeth together while you're talking. Oh, how dare you insist that I assault with common rabble? Oh,
My lips have touched common carnival fare.
oh. Yeah, if you keep your teeth together, I think it provides the wonderful sound that he protrudes. I like it.
I think so.
Mm. Well, we mentioned it briefly, but you've been to 5 pony conventions.
Yes.
Okay. 1 ill-fated and 2 that have gone well twice.
Yes.
One of which is not going to be happening for another year and a half. Darn it.
Which, here's the season 5.
Yes, this is true. I mean, hey, the longer they wait for another EQLA, the more chances there are for a Snowflake-centered episode for you.
Well, see, I'm not sure if I would want that.
Oh, okay.
Because one thing about My Little Pony is it has a bunch of visual gags,
Yes.
and Snowflake being one of them. Another one I want to point out is the Rainbow Dash Why Wub You face.
Gotcha. Yes, I know that one.
And I feel as though one of the strengths to the visual gags like that is they usually use it twice.
Okay.
And it's funny both times.
Right.
Because we have Hurricane Fluttershy, where Snowflake randomly pops up.
Right.
And then he shows up again in Wonderful Academy.
Gotcha.
I don't, I would appreciate it.
Right.
I don't know how much I would feel is like if they just threw him into another episode with him going, yeah, randomly. Like, maybe if, it's a random scene in Ponyville and he's in the background, I'd be okay with that.
Okay.
Having him running around in the foreground again, I don't really see, a good reason why they would do that.
That's true. I think for a lot of well-written shows, gags like that appear just as a gag, the longer the show runs, the more chance it is that character or individual or item will develop a backstory, just because it is something else that they could show. I think, for example, Apu Nahasapimapetalon from Simpsons didn't start as a specific character that they had written an entire backstory and history. No, he was just, thank you, come again.
Yeah.
And then they decided to give him some episodes.
1,538 rolled around.
I've been in Japan for over 11 years now, and for the first 5 years, I was like, man, I'm missing all the new Simpsons episodes. And now I'm like, haha, I'm missing all the new Simpsons episodes.
Yeah. I got to that point, I think it was the 300th episode.
Yeah, I could see it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think that if we continue Pony for another 2, 3, or even 4 seasons, I think Snowflake may get a backstory, and for all we know, he may turn out to be a wonderful character that turns out to be, I don't know, painfully shy, so has to force his words out. Which is why, is the easiest one for him to get out.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, my headcanon is that Snowflake is Scootaloo's father.
This also would work, sure.
Because, the idea that maybe he was a weak flyer, so he had to build the muscles, blah, blah, blah. Of course, I don't know. Have you seen the Comic-Con animatic?
I have not. I've avoided that. I apologize.
Then I won't say anything.
Sorry, anybody who's listening who has watched it will probably understand what you mean, but yeah, I haven't. I've avoided it. I hate spoilers. Sorry.
It's okay. I can understand it, but I can't remember where I was. I think it was in the middle of my training, and they were like Comic-Con spoilers, and I was like, sure. I think I held off for 2 days, and I was just like, nope, we gotta watch this.
I did that before season 3 came out, when they had the failure song. I avoided it, and then somebody pointed out to me, you've got a show on EFN now. You need to watch these stuff and keep up with it. I'm like, that's a good point. And I watched it, and I was sad for having watched it because the episode wasn't as good. And so I said, you know what? Nope, that's it. My show. I'll avoid talking about spoilers during my show if I want to. Yeah. But something I wanted to mention about the cons that you've been to, it
Hmm.
was just by fluke accidents, but you have become kind of security detail.
Yeah, kind of. That basically started at Unicon.
Hmm.
What had happened was, I'm pretty sure most of your followers know that Unicon was ill-fated, but
Yeah.
midway through the con, we, me and my friends found out that the security staff was basically non-existent. There was only like maybe 10 actual security working there, and then the rest of them were volunteers that were just kind of, flaky.
Oh my.
So me and four of my friends were pulled to the side because a few of us are bigger, the other ones are a little bit more organized than some.
Hmm. Hmm.
And we're like, hey, we need guys to work for with the VAs.
Right.
And well, for one thing, I've been to previous cons. Some of the VAs already knew who I was.
Right.
Not necessarily like first name basis, but they were like, oh, Snowflake, that guy from this con, blah blah
Right.
blah.
Right.
So that's probably one of the reasons they approached me specifically, and then the other four guys were hanging out with me.
Right place, right
So
time.
exactly. So we're like, sure. So they had us just put earpieces on and basically just watch over the VAs,
Uh-huh.
and like just some of the moments. Like I remember there was one moment when we were taking about half a dozen of them to a VA panel, and I was walking right next to Tabitha St. Germain, and she just kept hitting me with a water bottle. Like Tabitha St. Germain's my favorite VA is hitting me with a water bottle.
That's awesome.
Which I asked her about it later. She's like, "Oh, just making sure you're real."
That
Because
is an absolute Tabitha response.
yeah, because if any of your followers don't follow her on Twitter, all of Tabitha's tweets, I have stated this before, are not to be taken with alcohol, with any controlled substance, or with any seriousness.
I I occasionally will try to explain to somebody what happened in my dream at some point, but I am nowhere as proficient at it as she is. The stuff that she tweets is like, wow, that's an absolute wonderful recreation of a dream right there. You just recreated a dream in
I
a
was gonna
tweet.
say, I was like, yeah, she has explained it. I still have yet to understand any of them.
No, no, I don't think you fully understand it. I think I've compared it to an abstract painting that's really pretty, and you could stare at it for hours. Just you don't really know what it's about, and you just kind of hope that they're not making fun of you. And I don't think she is.
No, I don't imagine that she's making fun of me.
No,
She's not laughing at me. She's laughing near me.
exactly. Yes, and she hopes other people laugh with her, but you know what? That's kind of irrelevant.
Hmm. So yeah, so Unicon was basically the start. So the start of me being a face in the community.
Gotcha.
I'm not anything near say Mike the Mike or Dusty Cat or maybe even yourself.
People might kind of know my name, but the only people who know my face would be those who specifically went to my panel at Everfree Northwest.
Hmm.
And I had a lot of people staring at my chest at Everfree Northwest just because that's where my name tag was, and I'd like be walking down the hall and they'd stare. I go, "You're Osaka Jack." I'm like, "Yes, I am. Hi, how you doing?" But no, I think you would be recognized more than I would. I really do.
Well, oh, every once in a while when I'm dressed down, people will know who I am, but more often recently because the hair color that I was using for the first few times I did Snowflake, they don't make anymore.
Oh no.
So the last few cons, I had resorted to actually bleaching my hair.
Ah, I see.
So I'm a little snowflake even when I'm not in the costume.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Uh,
We mentioned it very briefly, but currently you are in the armed forces, aren't you?
yes, I'm in the California Army National Guard.
Okay. So let's see. I have interviewed Black Griffin, who was Marines until he's still now, but possibly by the time this airs, he won't be.
I thought no, he's Navy.
Navy, that's right. Oh man, what am I thinking? Ah, You guys are going to
Marines
kill me when I see it.
to
Oh,
insult.
my goodness. No, I was partially speaking to a Navy person earlier this week, and it got in my head. I apologize. I do know the difference. I swear.
Calling anyone else Marines,
Uh,
that's an insult. Jeez.
I'm so sorry. Okay, so let's see, armed forces. So Army for you, Navy with Black Griffin,
Mhm.
CDC. Not a lot of people are aware that that's part of the armed forces. The
CDC?
Center for Disease Control actually is part of the armed forces.
I wasn't even aware of that.
It makes sense if you think about it. In an extreme, outbreak situation, if you have to keep an entire community quarantined, there's a chance some of them are going to want to leave,
Yeah.
and you might have to resort to force.
Yeah, but you would think that they would go CDC and then National Guard.
Oh yeah, and from what I can tell, that is the process that's taken. But there are times where you have to quarantine now, and you don't have time to arrange anybody else. And in the meantime, you've got to make sure people stay in.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's part of the armed forces.
All right.
Haven't had any work with Coast Guard, which would be interesting because Japan actually has a very efficient Coast Guard. Trying to think who else I need. I'll make a list.
Hey, if you want, just go to Fob Equestria or Semper Fili on Facebook
That's true. Yes.
and just be like, "Hey, I do interviews. I'm cool."
I just want to interview everybody at the same time. So everybody start speaking in unison, okay?
Navy, Air Force, Marines. I'll talk slower for you.
Oh my. I won't ask because I know the nature of them, but I am sure that you know quite a bit of jokes about other areas of the armed forces. They seem to
Oh
be
yeah.
rampant.
Well, I mean, like one of them is we all. Oh, what's it called when you make a word out of like a sentence, like the first letter of every
Acronym?
word, acronym? For some reason, the military loves acronyms.
Oh yeah.
So like, there's a lot for like Navy, never again volunteer yourself. Army, aren't really Marines yet.
Nice.
And then Marine, which I thought was pretty funny, is muscles are required, intelligence not essential.
Okay, let's see. Usually I'm pretty good at this. Let's see. Snowflake. Uh, let's see. Sometimes nobody obtains W. It's too early in the morning. I can't think of a W. Okay. All right, give me to the end of the interview. I might be able to come up with something.
you can take a day.
Yeah. Usually it takes me only like 2 or 3 minutes, but I've gone blank right now. I apologize.
Well, I mean, come on, it's on the spot and W.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not that it's a W. It's that it's after an N and O, which there's actually relatively few English words that have those that go together really well. Yeah, well, a question that I ask in all of my interviews, in all of My Little Pony, what would you say is the one line or one scene that defines you as a brony?
Hmm. I'm gonna say the first time that Derpy talks.
Okay, okay.
Because Derpy is my favorite character, and like it's not just oh she's so cute, blah blah blah. This is I like explaining this.
Mm-mm-mm.
If it was if it wasn't for us, she would have never had a speaking line.
This is true.
It's like without bronies, without the internet, without this entire thing, Derpy would have been nothing more than another one of the filler characters that they use on the side. She would have had she would have had regular eyes,
Yeah.
and no one would have noticed her.
Except,
But
well, first time would have been animation error, but then that would have
exactly.
been it.
That's what I was gonna say. If without adult fans going on the 4chan posting the picture, no one would have noticed her,
Mm-mm.
and it would have just gone on the wayside, just like every other animation error. But it's us that went out and be like, oh, look at the little Derpy pony. Oh, that's a perfect name for her, Derpy, and thus the name of Derpy Hooves. And then the scene where like 3 or 4 characters, Muffin. Oh, her mouth was moving. She must love muffins. She has a derpy eye, so she has to be a little klutzy. Blah blah blah. And we just built on it
Right.
and built on it. And I'm proud to say that I got into the show before that episode aired
Okay.
because it I can proudly say that in a small way,
Mm.
I had a hand in putting a character into the show.
Okay, sure.
And like any fan who read a fanfic, drew a picture, looked up a picture, listened to Bald Dumbo Rat who does the fan voice of Derpy.
Right.
Like if you'd given any time to the whole Derpy thing, you helped create a character that got into the show.
Hmm.
And it's kind of like, to me, it's the epiphany of what bronies can do
Hmm.
if we work together, if we be peaceful.
Right. Okay.
And that is the reason. That's like the main reason why I love Derpy.
Okay. Makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have to. This week was not good news for Japan MLP, but I'm hoping they keep the show at. They've ordered through the end of season 2, and I'm just like, oh, I want to hear Discord. I want to hear Iron Will. I want to hear Queen Chrysalis, but I really want to hear Japan's Derby.
Yes,
I want to hear what they can do with it.
she's
So,
gonna be from Osaka.
fine with me. Heck, I'll do the voice. Contact
She,
me.
she's gonna sound like Osaka from Azumanga Daioh.
Sure.
Oh God, the English dub of that is just horrifying.
Yes, unfortunately.
They gave her a southern accent, which I've talked to other people. I was like, no, it fits because Osaka's like the south of Japan, but at the same
Yeah,
time, you don't give an anime character a southern accent.
and I've mentioned it before. Yes, Osaka is more south than Tokyo, but at the same time, this is the 9th largest city in the world. We're not as large as Tokyo, but it's not the deep south here. This is a very, very large metropolis. In my mind, a better comparison to Tokyo or Osaka would be a comparison of New York to Chicago. It's two
Okay.
very large metropolises, and granted, one is not as large as the other, but I don't think anybody would claim that somebody from downtown Chicago is a country bumpkin.
Well, I was going to say it's not necessarily the where it is. It's more of the draw.
Yeah, I know.
Because I mean, you can go Dallas, Texas, where everyone's a little bit more down home,
Okay,
down to earth.
sure.
Where can I say that Osaka is kind of a little bit more relaxed than Tokyo?
In the same way that Los Angeles is more relaxed than New York, yes.
Hmm.
No, no, I'm very serious there. There is a difference in pace between those two cities. And it's something that you see over here as well. As a general rule, a person from New York will be in a rush to get things done, whereas a person in Los Angeles, except for driving, which is insane, in just regular life, it's a bit more of a relaxed pace, I find. That's how I would
Well,
compare it
well, I've never been to New York, so I really can't make a comparison myself.
to. um, I'm trying to think of a better comparison then. And I don't have one.
It's
Oh,
okay.
well.
I can kind of understand.
Yeah. I mean, Japanese Applejack, I think, has come along really well. I wasn't impressed with her in the beginning, but she's gotten better at it. She really has. I think, honestly, it's when the voice actress for Applejack started to interact with the voice actress for Apple Bloom that she really started to come into her own.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to what they can do with her in the future. Uh, Again, last roundup. Looking forward to it. I can only
Well, I mean,
surmise.
you can make the argument it's like they could have always just done what they've done with Pinkie Pie and Rarity and Twilight and just found a similar singing voice, but
True, true, but I don't think that's very common over here. I think if you get the actress, you get the actress as they are. Or they could have done like they did with, I think it's Italian. Have you listened to Italian Rarity?
no, I've
Oh
only
my goodness.
I've only heard the Italian opening theme.
That's good, but no, I believe it's Italian Rarity, just sounds horrible singing. It's, if you get a chance, listen to At the Gala, and Rarity's part is just cringe-worthy.
Well, it's like some of the small things that like Fluttershy does in different languages.
Hmm.
Like there's a compilation video of her doing that evil laugh from the Best Night Ever,
Right. Looking
and
forward to that. For anybody who's listening who is an animation fan, the person who does Japanese Fluttershy does the voice of Kyubey, which is arguably one of the most evil characters ever created. So hearing that evil laugh would be interesting.
does Cube laugh a lot?
No,
Oh,
but we'd finally get to hear it. Is my point.
okay. Because I remember seeing one of them where like as soon as she starts the evil laugh, it kind of cuts to the like I'm pretty sure it's Tabitha St. Germain's laugh as Nightmare Moon.
Okay, so they couldn't even do an evil laugh and had to splice it in.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think Tabitha St. Germain was the one who did the sound effects for Philomena, and those did not change. So I think,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. She was.
yeah, okay. So in secondhand way, Tabitha St. Germain has just been voiced on Japanese My Little Pony.
Tabitha St. Germain taking over.
Yay! I'm fine with that. That's okay with me.
Tabitha and Tara Strong. You're gonna voice everything.
We'll pair them up with Eddie Murphy, and it'll be a movie with thousands of cast members and only the three of them.
Who knows? We might be dubbed over by Tara Strong right now as we speak.
Ah, could be, could be. Yeah.
Your listeners don't know. It's just every one of your episodes just Tara Strong arguing with herself.
Actually, everybody on Everfree Network is Tara Strong, unless she gets sick, and then Tabitha does a few voices. But yeah, turns out Everfree Northwest complete CGI. It was only Tabitha and Tara Strong called in from Skype.
No. Oh yeah. Oh no. The last one. Remember, Tabitha was sick. Andrea Libman
That's
filled
right.
in.
Yes, yes. Andrea Libman had to come in. That's right. That's right. That is the. I did. Speaking Everfree Northwest, I have to mention it really fast. We did meet briefly in the autograph line right before you gave Raven Plank.
Yes, that was one of the greatest reactions I've ever seen.
It was a beautiful reaction. It was absolutely wonderful. I'm going to try to put the picture of it right here. But
Oh yeah.
I thought it was funny because when I saw that picture, you tweeted that picture like well after the convention, and I said I was right where the camera is. I think at that point I was literally getting Peter New's autograph, so I'm pretty sure I was right behind this.
Yes, you did post that.
Yeah,
You're right behind Kat Whitney, one of their
yeah,
friends.
that's right, that's right. So I'm like, this looks familiar. Oh yeah, I saw this live.
But it's not even that picture because that picture was after because
Okay,
we kind of posed.
right.
Like as soon as I pulled it out of the bag, she just her expression went to this blind bliss. She grabbed it from me, hugged it as hard as she could, and then just kind of went limp on the table.
Mhm, mhm.
I just like looked down at her. I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty much what I was shooting for."
It was an excellent reaction. Yes. Well, okay, so you will possibly, we're not sure yet, but a good chance be at Nightmare Nights.
Yes.
And I would assume that you're going to attempt to go to other conventions that might be in the area at some point.
I'm not sure yet. It's
Oh,
usually, once they're named.
right, right.
And, this one I was approached first.
Okay. All right.
And then for sure, I don't care how much it's going to cost. I don't care what the effort it's going to take to get me there. I'm going to BronyCon next year.
Oh, okay.
I have to.
I
It's,
cannot make such a claim. I would like to, but it took a full year of me saving to get to Everfree, so I'm not sure I'll have enough time to save up for BronyCon at this point.
if for anything else, just go there and make stupid faces with Jack's Blade.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's definitely something worth checking out. Well, everybody, today we have been speaking with Snowflake in real life, haven't we?
Yes. Oh wait,
What
sorry.
the? Oh!
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm,
Haven't
I,
we?
I've been scolded by my roommates to keep it down. So
Ah, okay. All right.
yeah.
Very well. Be sure to follow him on Twitter, Tumblr, which may or may not be active.
Uh,
Uh,
you probably go on the Twitter.
okay, go for the Twitter then.
So yes,
And look for
if
him as security at cons. Don't hit him with a water bottle unless you are Tabitha St. Germain.
yes,
Hmm.
or for some reason I am Justin Bieber, then you have the right to hit me with a water bottle.
Ah, topical humor is funny.
Uh,
Uh, Thank you so much for coming by and speaking with us today.
oh, no problem. It was a pleasure.
Everyone, this has been Into the Spotlight with Osaka Jack on Everfree Network. We'll catch you next time.